Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Docdel TV. And once again, this is Docdel. So, this evening, we are going to shift to another discussion. We will have to discuss this time the necessity of writing and action research to education. So, meaning to say that starting today, I will be creating videos that will guide or that will help the teachers, especially the teachers in the Department of Education, if they are going to write an action research. But before that, for those who are new to this channel, I want you to subscribe and then hit the notification bell so that if I have new videos relating to writing and action research in education, you will be updated. Before we are going to go deeper on the importance of writing and action research, this time we are going to discuss first, or let us try to enlighten ourselves on the different definitions of what is an action research, no? Especially action research in education. So here, action research is becoming increasingly popular in education. Okay, action research is based on the belief that the educator or practitioner is the best judge of his or her teaching or practice. Each educator has his own personal theories of educational practice, and with this, action research helps the educator to bridge the gap between theory and practice. So according to Gaske, in 2000, educational problems and issues are best identified and investigated where the action is. For example, at the classroom and school level. So for example, if you are a teacher, it is really good that you are going to write an action research based on your school, or let us try to say at school level or classroom level. By bringing research into these settings and engaging those who work at this level in research activities, because as a teacher, you know very well what is the necessity of your classroom. Okay, for example, the behavior of the students, for example, the outcomes of your students, how they participated in your class, how they responded to module, especially this time of pandemic. Okay. So, findings can be applied immediately and problems can be solved more quickly, especially if your action research is a classroom-based action research. So meaning to say, you should have to observe your classroom, you should have to observe your students at that level, and from that observation, you could be able to come up with a good action research. Action research in education has also been called different names such as classroom research, self-reflective inquiry, teacher research, teacher self-evaluation, and teacher as a or teacher as researcher. Okay. So according to Carr and Kimmis in 1986, they defined research or action research as a form of self-reflective inquiry. No? Self-reflective inquiry, meaning to say it is based from your observation. What has been observed inside the classroom or what has been observed by the teacher at the school level. Okay. This has been undertaken by participant teachers. So it could be your participants are teachers, are students, school principals, in educational situations in order to improve the rationality and justice of an educational practices. The understanding of these practices, the situations or institutions in which these practices are carried out. Okay. So let us try to have this first, no? The improvement of educational practice. So when we talk about action research, from the word action, there is a problem that needs or that need to be responded. No? There is a problem that need to be responded. Okay. Second is understanding these practices. Okay. Understanding these practices, meaning to say, you should have to understand. Okay, for example, no, an extreme behavior of your student, no, an extreme behavior of your students that you have to, or there is a need for your help. There is a need for you to respond, or there is a need for you to understand that practice. Then, after that, you should have as well to see the situations or institutions in which this practice are carried out. Okay. So, make sure that when you are going to have an action research, no, meron ka talagang nakita na problema na kailangan nating pagtuunan ng pansin. And always remember this, that writing an action research is not merely for promotional purposes. You are writing an action research because you need, or somehow you need to solve a problem, or you should be able to provide possible solutions to the problem. So this time, we are going to proceed now to the core of this video, no? The content of this video. So the entire video presentations will be focused on the introduction of writing and action research, no? The legal basis. And then, after that, I will be teaching you how to write an action research in a simplest way. That's why I am always, no, when I am conducted a seminar on writing an educational action research, I keep on saying to my participants that writing an action research is like eating an ice cream. No? It is like eating an ice cream. Meaning to say that writing an action research is a simple thing. No? It is not a complicated one, but it is only simple. Because, take note, this is based on the observation of the teacher, no? Self-reflective inquiry undertaken by the teacher researcher. Okay. So another thing is what we are going to focus as well on this video is I will be giving tips on embracing action research culture. No, there are tips on how one can embrace the beauty, no, the aesthetic side of writing and action research. Since the focus of this video or the content of this video presentation is I will be giving tips on embracing action research culture. So the entire video presentation from this video up to the last video, these are the objectives that we are going to deal with. Okay. First objective, that at the end of all video presentations, the teacher researcher, no, the teachers are able to increase ideas towards writing educational action research. So we have a context, no, action research on education. Second, appreciate educational action research as venue in solving classroom-based encountered challenges. Okay, so we have to consider this as one of our challenges. No, this is not a problem, but it is a challenge for a teacher to provide a possible solution somehow to provide a possible solution to the discovered or identified challenges. And lastly, submit an action or basic research to be presented in your school, in your district, and division research congress. So I hope that before we are going to end all the topics, because here we are going to slice all the topics. No, we will not be discussing the whole thing. Why? Because it is not easy to remember. So this video is the start. No? This is our start. How are you going to write an action research? I will be giving tips for you to be able to embrace the aesthetic side of making an action research, writing an action research, and of course, some of the parts of this first video is on the introduction to action research in education. Okay, so what are the bases on this research implementation? What are the bases of this research implementation? Now, especially the Department of Education is now motivating all the teachers that they could be able to write an action research. They could be able to write an action research. So that's why the Department of Education, with this Basic Education Research Fund, that if your research will be after the evaluation of your research, at saka ito ay papasa, then your research will be funded. No, may it be a classroom-based, school-based, district-based, division-wide, regional-wide, or nationwide action research. Now, there is a funds for, no, meron talagang nakalaang halaga for the teachers to be motivated in writing and action research. Okay, so what are the bases on this research implementation? First, we have the DepEd Order number 16 series of 2017. Okay, so if you have an internet connection, you can visit the DepEd Order number 16 series of 2017, and this discusses the research management guidelines. No? The research management guidelines of the Department of Education. Second, DepEd Order number 43 series of 2015, the revised guidelines on basic research funds. No? Revised guidelines of basic research funds. So if you have an internet connection, but don't worry, I will be including all the links of this DepEd orders or basis for research implementation on the description of this video. Next is the DepEd Order number 39, series of 2016, the adoption of basic research agenda. And number 4, Division Memorandum Order. This is for Butuan City Division. Butuan City Division, so we have a DepEd Memorandum Order number 353, series of 2017, and this has something to do with the research format. No? This has something to do with the research format. Okay. So, here, I don't know if in every division we have or we differ. No, we differ on the template in writing action research. However, on the template of basic education research funds, no, it is always unified. Meaning to say, from the national level up to division level, the template is the same. Or the same, meaning to say, it is a unified template. So this time, I will be presenting to you the format of the researches that the Division of Butuan City has been accepted. So we have here two types of researches. Okay, so we have action research and basic research. And later, I will be also presenting to you the format or template for Filipino action research. So let's have first action research. Let us have first action research. So Roman numeral 1 is context and rationale. Roman numeral 2, action research questions. Roman numeral 3, proposed innovation, intervention, and strategy. Roman numeral 4, action research methods. With this includes participants and or other sources of data, then data gathering methods and data gathering plan. Roman numeral 5, action research plan and timelines. Then Roman numeral 6, action or plans for dissemination and utilization, and Roman numeral number 7, references. Okay, so what I am presenting now is the format for proposal. Okay, so this is the format for proposal. For basic research, Roman numeral 1, introduction and rationale. So if you try to look at it, the difference between action research and basic research, as far as Roman numeral 1 is concerned, of course, on action research, context and rationale. But on basic research, we have introduction and rationale. Roman numeral 2, research literature or literature review. So on basic research, we should have to have review of literature. No? Review of literature, but in action research, 3 to 5 authors, 3 to 5 authors, this is already enough. Okay, so when you are going to write an action research, do away with thesis writing, dissertation writing, because it is very much different. So in basic research, you need only to have 3 to 5 literature. Okay, so yun lang. Huwag nyo nang dagdagan pa. And then make sure that that literature is also relative to the content of your study or to your material. Okay. Next, Roman numeral 3, we have here the research questions. No? Roman numeral 3, we have here the research questions. And Roman numeral 4, scope and limitation. Okay, so Roman numeral 4, scope and limitation. So, don't worry, teachers, don't worry guys, because from introduction up to the last Roman numeral, you will be guided. So for example, we will have one session for introduction and rationale or context and rationale. What are the elements to be included in writing context or introduction and rationale for you to be able to complete this first Roman numeral? No? So don't worry, because in our next videos, it is more on tutorial, giving examples, so that at the end of this video presentations, you could have your own action research. So that's why I am always encouraging the viewers, every time that we have discussion on writing an action research, you should have to have a pen and a paper. No? So that you could be able to take down notes, essential matters that needs to, or what you call this one, for you to be guided in writing an action research. So next, Roman numeral 5 is research methodology. Okay, research methodology. Then we have sampling, data collection, ethical issues. Okay, ethical issues, plan for data analysis, and then Roman numeral 6, timetable, or it could be Gantt chart. So I will be teaching you as well. No, I will be showing you simple timetable. No, so here in our discussion, we will not make things complicated. As what I have said, writing an action research is like eating an ice cream. No? So, ganun lang siya ka-simple. Hindi siya mahirap. And then, so, on ethical issues, no, this is very significant. This is very significant in writing an action research. Especially your respondents, your participants, your subjects, or your students. No, they are minor. No, below 18 years old. So that's why on this part, this is significant in writing an action research. Okay. So if you try to look at it, no, sometimes researchers are using respondents. sometimes using participants or informants, and sometimes they are using subjects. So what is now the distinction? If we will try to discriminate the three terms, kailan tayo gagamit ng respondents, participants or informants, or subjects? So if your study is qualitative, that's the time that you are going to use participants or informants. But if your study is quantitative, so from the word quanti, no, this involves numerical figure. No, this involves numbers. That's the time that you are going to use respondents. And subjects are used for experimental researches. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you feel that you are going to use respondents, participants, subjects. You should have to know when to use the term. And then, of course, the most important thing ay ang literature cited. The references. No? Don't worry because I will be teaching you how to search properly, accurately. No, using your computer, your laptop, and of course, your internet connection. And then lastly, on Filipino. Okay. On Filipino, action research proposal sa Filipino, Roman numeral number 1, pahina ng titulo. No? Pahina ng titulo. Okay. Tama ba ito? Okay, no? So, this is pahina ng titulo ayon sa kanila. Okay. So, ito yung justification, no? Why you need or why you have to conduct that research. Next is konteksto at makatwirang paliwanag. No? So, yun. No? Hindi ang pahina ng titulo, erase natin yun. Ang pinakauna ay konteksto at makatwirang paliwanag. Pangalawa, paglalahad ng suliranin. At huwag kayong mag-alala, don't worry because I will teach you as well the technique how to write an action research questions. No? Proper way of writing action research questions. Especially in the Department of Education, 2 action research questions. These are enough. No? That's why I told you do a way of writing thesis, dissertation. It is really different. Next, Roman numeral number 4, ipanukalang makabagong ideya, interbensyon at estratehiya. Panglima, metodolohiya. So, kasama dito yaong mga kalahok at iba pang pinagkukunang datos. Pamamaraan sa pangangalap ng datos, and then yung Gantt chart or timetable, and then planong aksyon para diseminasyon at paggamit at mga sanggunian. Okay, so those were the proposal or the format of action, basic, and research in Filipino for proposal. We will be having a different discussion on the completed, no, template, completed format of an action research. Okay. So, this is our focus tonight. No, this is only our focus. However, in the days that we are going to discuss more, no? So in the next discussion, before I will teach you everything, we should have to have focus every discussion. So next meeting, before we are going to craft the introduction and rationale or context and rationale, I will be teaching you first how to cite properly the authors that will be included in your action research. No, especially on basic research that you have literature review or review of literature. So there is a need for us to be guided on how to cite the author properly. We call this one as in-text citation. And at this very point, we are using the APA. We are using the APA, or this what we call American Psychological Association. And this time we will be using the 6th edition. Actually, there is already a new edition, 7th I think, but I will teach you how to cite properly authors using the 6th edition of American Psychological Association format. So after the discussion of citation, that's the time that we are going to proceed on how to write introduction and rationale or context and rationale. And this will be our concern next video. So this is our first video. Our next video is on citation. No, so that you will be guided. So that you will be guided. Citation is necessary. No? Kasi you know what, every time I check an action research, even in my practical research class, no? Even in my practical research class, ito ang isa sa napapansin ko sa mga estudyante. Kahit sa mga guro, even teachers, no? They could not be able to define well mechanics of writing. No? They could not be able to define well mechanics of writing, no, action research. Or maybe research, no? Minsan intention mali pa, no? Minsan in citing authors, iba sa itaas, iba sa baba, no? Different presentation, and that is a no-no in research. Okay. So, that would be all for tonight. That would be all for tonight. So, next meeting would be the citation, and the next meeting after the citation would be how to write introduction and rationale. What are the important elements? Because we could not write everything we want. No? Always remember that this is scientific writing. We are guided. No? So, that poetic part of yours, no, yung pagka-literary ng isang tao, hindi yan pwede natin i-apply sa research. So, abangan nyo next meeting because we will be discussing citation, and the next meeting would be how to write introduction and rationale. So, that would be all tonight. Thank you for watching. God bless. Bye-bye. And stay safe always.